1, 2, 3.
Fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. So in this one, we've introduced a little bit of time in the sense of rhythm and pacing. Mm-hmm. So we were going for something that's a little bit of a medium speed. This is a good next step, is to add in a bit of rhythm into the playing. The other aspect that we added was adding a structure harmonically, so a predictable pattern of chords. And in this, the simplest thing we can add is a 2-chord pattern. So, Kenny, why don't you talk a little bit about the chord pattern that we picked?
Sure. Well, we picked a G, C chord pattern, meaning the chords G for, I think it was 2 bars, and then C for 2 bars, and back to G, and back to C. And you'll hear lots of this in music, because 2-chord songs are mostly what we learn when we're little kids. You know, many songs are just have 1 chord that are children's songs, because it gives them a smaller range to learn. But 2-chord songs are perfect for the intermediate player. So I just started with a simple voicing for a G chord. I put a G in the bass, and I'm thinking of my left hand like the bass player. So really, as a piano player who likes to think about the rolls, you want to think about the bass notes as providing the tracks, you know, like the tracks so that the train's going on, you know, and so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, back to G, 1. Then on top, I just added a couple of notes from the G chord, C chord, then to the G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax it all and breathe. And at that point, I can actually close my eyes and move my body a little bit, which is another part of music that really helps me. Is like once you get practicing to the intermediate level, you should be thinking about the notes as well and the structure, so you can stay together with all the people on the train. You don't want to be jumping off the train. That could be dangerous. Yeah. But once you're, if you're nervous about getting on the train, well, that's normal. Everyone is. But once the train gets going, clickety clack, you know that it's you're going to be okay. Remember to sit up tall and do that breathing, so you feel connected and that you're enjoying yourself, because music it should be as fun as tag, as far as I'm concerned. You know, so Todd and I have been doing this for years, so we always crack each other up. But anyway, that's how I think of the bass player role and setting the tracks, and that's also the and then in the right hand is the harmony rail, which is like that, playing the chords here in the right hand, and I'm just trying to keep the beat solid and play the harmony. So I'm doing the ties and the harmony track, and Todd is doing the melody track. So that's how we're creating the tracks for our trip. Yeah.
And now something that will probably happen as you get playing and is you may lose the form. Like Kenny might go to the C chord and I'm still thinking I'm on the G chord, and that stuff is going to happen, and it's totally fine. And don't get thrown by, it can derail. We actually talk about this in bands. Like when the song goes off the rails, it's not the worst thing, especially when you're just practicing. Yeah. You can stop, start again. You can try it at a different tempo, things like that. Now, one of the things is one of the great things that I try and teach in the music coach is, even though I'm playing the flute, it doesn't mean that I can't be the accompanist. I can't support.
Okay, sure.
So in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the chord structure, and Kenny's just going to take a solo in his right hand, which might be where you're at as a player. If you're intermediate, you may have trouble improvising with the right hand and holding the left hand at the same time. So we're going to go at the same tempo.
So I'm going to keep playing the bass notes in my left hand, because that's the bass player. And there's the G, and then I got to go to the C. So which chord tone are you going to pick to outline the chords?
I'm going to play just the roots. So I'm going to play the G and the C.
All right.
So we're going to go 1, 2.
And will I play improv?
I want you to just improvise, but don't even play the left hand.
Got it.
Because they may not be able to do that.
So I'm going to switch my bass player hand to my chord hand, and then I'm going to play melodies up here.
Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3.
So I don't know if you saw my body go up there at the end, but that was after I made what I thought was a mistake. And then I remembered to laugh because a teacher that Todd and I both learned a lot from, really got us into laughing at mistakes, which is something. It's kind of like when you're playing tag and you fall down. Well, you might hurt yourself, but you still get back up because you're having so much fun. And for a long time as beginner musicians, I know most musicians and go through this experience of like, oh, I made a mistake, that's bad, that's wrong, and you feel really bad inside. So when we laugh, we actually you let some air go, and it reminds you to be connected back to your breath, right? And say, hey, it's just music, it's just a game. We're not going to hurt anybody here.
And one of my favorite quotes of all time was from Miles Davis, who talked about a mistake is just an opportunity. And if you really can feel that way, like sometimes you end up in a place you weren't expecting. It's just like life. It's what you do when you get there that makes it the experience that it is.